Well, welcome everyone to our December card making class with the Baldwinsville Public Library. Thank you, Julia, for being my partner as we put together this event each month. We have our virtual gathering live on Zoom and live stream to Facebook. And then the recording is available on the Baldwinsville Public Library Facebook page and also on their YouTube channel. So if you're interested, you can go back and see the playlist of all of the different monthly events we've enjoyed for the last 2 years. Tonight, we're going to be celebrating the holidays, and I have some different projects for you. I'll give you a quick look first, and then we'll open up our pack and we can get started. So the first thing we're going to make is this fun gift treat holder, and you either have a snowman, a gift package, pile of gift packages, or a holiday Christmas tree. And so we'll be working on that. You can fill it with lots of goodies. I included just one tea bag for you to have tonight as we enjoy the evening, or you can add it into your holder. So that's one of our projects. This is also a sneak peek of what's available tomorrow during our in-person class. This is a kit that's available. You get 3 of each of the different designs, plus the ink spot, the stamp set, and a block for the $20 supply fee. And the other option tomorrow, actually there's several, but the 2 that I'm featuring are both holiday related. This is a beautiful set of 15 cards that can be either photo cards or cards like we're making tonight with the beautiful greetings. So both of those are featured kits tomorrow for our in-person event. I'd love to see you there. And this one I especially love because it's a larger size. It's still mailable with a regular size, first class stamp postage, but it's a beautiful big card, and we'll talk about what we can do with the extra foil that's included in your kit. And then our third project is a little nod to the new year, or a happy birthday card that you can create for someone celebrating birthday in the new year. So 2023 is a big year for our family, as my son, Matt, is graduating from Villanova University in May. And so this one is, even though he's 21, he'll turn 22 next year. This is for him to celebrate 2023. We've been writing Nova 2023 for many years now. And it's gonna, when we turn that calendar, it's really gonna feel special. So this is a note card size, and we'll have a chance to that's also a regular first class postage stamp. Okay, so let's highlight my hands, and we'll go ahead and take a look at what's inside of your kit. So you have a white bag, and this is really a blank canvas for you. You can use it as wrapping paper, you can embellish it, or use it really simply plain. But I like the lightness of this paper. It's got a nice shiny feel to it. When you take out your things, though, you'll notice there's some kind of little odds and ends. So we're going to make sure that you have the string, the baker's twine that you'll need. And then there's a little clip. And my clip must have come out already. Yep, here it is. So you can set aside the Happy New Year or Happy Birthday card. Okay, set that one aside. We'll do that after. And then you can set aside the envelope, that's that large envelope that will make the holiday card. Okay, we'll do that after too. So we're going to start with the things that were kind of thrown into the bag on their own. They weren't in another container. So you have the inside goodie bag, which is a glassine printed bag, kind of with these snow or celebration pattern. The 2 pieces of baker twine, we have the pink and white and the green and white baker's twine. The little brass clip, golden kind of brass clip. And then 2 tags. The more rectangular shaped tag we'll use to embellish the glassine filled gift bag. And then the other one, you either have a banner shape or a circle shape, like I have for my snowman here. Okay, so that's what you'll want. We'll stamp that first. So you want to find those pieces first. We've got the tag shape, and then either the banner or the circle. Please forgive my raspy throat. I've been suffering from a cold and sore throat this week. I'm a little hoping to be on the mend as we head in toward the weekend and all of the activities everyone has planned for December. It's not a happy time to be sick. So do forgive me if I have to take a pause with my tea. I'm using the ink this called Flirty Flamingo. It's a really pretty pink color. And I think it's nice when you're working on holiday cards to kind of challenge yourself to think out of the box from the standard red and greens. There are so many beautiful shades of rose and red and burgundy and cherry, as well as the many shades of green. So I think that's something that's fun about this particular kit, is that it has some more contemporary, the pool party and the Flirty Flamingo colors included. So I'm going to stamp on the banner part, I'm going to stamp Happy Holidays. This kit has a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, a To From, and a Oh What Fun stamp in it, this little set. It also has a rectangular box that works great for making presents, a pile of presents, or a pattern shape, and then a pretty bow. So I'm inking up, and I'm using a photopolymer stamp. So I want to make sure that there's a bit of cushion under my paper because the photopolymer stamps don't have foam on them like our traditional red rubber stamps do. But once I have that stamped up, I'm going to spread it across the banner. Now, if you don't have a stamp with a greeting that you feel is appropriate for this, you can write your own message. You can personalize it with a person's name or a verse from your favorite carol. You get to decide. But you'll have, take one of your strings, either the pink or the green, and we're going to tie a little bow around this paper clip. So what I'm going to do is the part that has just the one turn of the paper clip, this I'm going to say has two. That's kind of the bottom of the paper clip, right? That's the part that's going to slide on. So I'm going to tie my ribbon at the top part that just has the one rounded piece. And I cut the baker's twine generously for you, so you will likely trim off some of the tails, but we're going to thread it through and then just make a knot like we're tying our shoe, 2 loops, and pull that through. So you have a happy little bow. You can kind of wiggle it and stretch it as you wish, but it's meant to be kind of fanciful. The baker's twine with the double colors, I think, is kind of fanciful too. So we're stretching that, and I've got some extra tails. I am going to go ahead and trim my baker's twine. And then now we have this piece, either the round piece or the banner piece, ready to add to our gift bag when it's assembled. Okay, so that's our first bit of stamping. If you have the circle, you can go ahead and stamp Oh What Fun. And then we'll take the To From stamp. And of course, you could stamp or color or draw or cut out and add any kind of image to the tag shape. But I know if you're like me, it's fun to go to a party or to an event in your neighborhood or at your church and have something that has your name on it. It really feels like you were invited, you were welcomed, people knew you were coming, and they're happy to see you. So if I am doing gifts where I'm not sure all the people that will be attending, I might write To Friend or To Santa's Helper or To My Secret Santa. If you're not sure who it's for, that's kind of a way to add that. Okay, so let's go ahead and assemble our box. I'm going to show you 2 ways because when this kit first came out from Stampin' Up, a lot of people realized they could stretch the kit and really just put the big shape on one side of the box. So on my present sample, I glued I chose just the front, and now I have this second one that I can use on another project. I can add it as a big tag on a gift. I could add it to a card front to make a card. I could create a banner. And so it's up to you whether you want to put, so both sides have the decoration. And that's how I've done it for my snowman. Or you can just put together the one. And of course, you may decide you want to use these pieces for something altogether different. And I welcome you to do that. Please let me know how you might use these pieces differently. But for tonight, just so I can show you how the box would be assembled. Now I have 2 adhesive choices that I recommend. One is called tear and tape. It's a thin double-sided adhesive that's strong. So it's really great for any three-dimensional projects that you're working on. Then, of course, my favorite, the green lid glue, which is a nice, strong liquid adhesive, which will make a secure bond. You'll notice that the base of your gift holder has been scored already for you. So I'm going to go ahead and fold on all those score lines. And I'm making like a trapezoid, I believe is the shape.
Missy,
Is that right, Julia?
When you say you fold them, do you fold them towards the crease or away from the?
Yes, into the middle. I'm folding everything into where it's going to fold together. So my little shorter ones on the ends are going to fold up. It's looking a little bit like a bridge, isn't it?
Right. I just wasn't sure. I mean, you could do that either direction.
True. And actually, this is a way you can do it so that the glue won't show. You could actually put the strips on the outside.
I mean, you can fold it.
Oh, exactly. There's no up or down in this.
Yeah.
case.
Okay. So whichever one works better. Okay.
Exactly. Yep. Thanks for clarifying that. And so it's designed to be a little wider at the base for security standing.
Cool.
And then a little bit narrower at the top. So I'll do one side with the tear and tape and one side with the green glue, so you can kind of get a feel. If you don't have this kind of strong adhesive, you could use Scotch tape or masking tape, because it's not going to show very much. Do you see how you can kind of do it so that the adhesive doesn't show very much? And I'm not offended by adhesive showing, so it doesn't bother me. But what I'm going to do is put some tear and tape now on the part of the flap that will tuck inside here. So if I turn it upside down, I'm actually going to put it on these two strips like this. 1, 2, and now you'll see when I fold that up, it will hide this little flap. I'll peel off the adhesive, the little wax paper that covers the adhesive, and then just line it up at the seam. If you have any questions as we're playing tonight, please go off the mute, unmute yourself so that you can speak with me, or put a note into the chat. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, welcome. We're so happy that you found us here, and you can type questions or comments there, and then Julia will catch them. And if we miss anything, then after the class, I usually go through and look at any comments tonight. So that was how I could use the tear and tape adhesive. Now I'm going to show you how I use the green glue. This is my preferred adhesive just about for every project. It is a latex product. So if you have any latex allergies, please don't use it. It would be an allergic reaction for you. But if not, it's a great adhesive even for kids. But the trick is to remember a little goes a long way. I'm just drawing a little thread line there, and that's plenty. Or I could do dot, 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 not a lot, just dot, dot. So then I'm going to just use my thumb and my finger, one on the outside and one on the inside, to just apply a little pressure there. And what's nice, one of the advantages to the green glue is it does give you a little wiggle room. So if you have it really crooked here, you can fix that. Whereas the tear and tape is pretty much one and done. It's going to be a strong grab to the paper right at the start. So now we have this cute little box. I saw some variations where people made these into like little train cars. So you could decorate it for a birthday or a holiday train, and then put treats inside for a centerpiece at your table. That could be fun as well. But tonight we're using the pieces that are ready to go from our kit. And you'll notice on the back of each of your pieces, there's going to be a little line that shows where the box will adhere.
Oh,
okay. And that's just helpful, especially on the tree. It's helpful because there's going to be a little bit that hangs down, and that's okay. That's by design. If you want it to be flat on the table, just some of your white box would show, but that's your choice as well. So what I like to do is put a little glue on inside that line. I don't want to put glue on the line because then it would hang, it would be really sticky at the outside. So you can choose to put glue on your white box and adhere it to the tree or the shape, or you can put the glue inside the box. So that's what I like to do. So I just draw a line of glue inside that, and I go across the top as well, inside the lines that were drawn on the piece. Then with some pressure, I can push down the box. And I hope you can see, okay, what I'm going to do is just put my fingers inside here and add pressure to help the paper bond to the other paper. And there you have it. So you can stop here and put your gift pouch in and not have the back, and then you'd have this other piece to play with. I think this would be a fabulous tag just by itself. Just punch a hole. It's beautiful. What a big tag it would be for an item that you have that's quite large, or that you might just add to a simple gift bag. We like to reuse our bags each year at Christmas. I've over the years, I've sewn many bags. And so we reuse the bags, but make new tags often. Just that's a lot of fun. But if you do want to put your back on, I'm going to show you, I'll do that for my example too. I'm going to again put my glue inside the lines. Okay. And then lay it down flat and put the box on top. So that just helps me use my sight to line up where the box belongs, and then again apply pressure. If you don't have this kind of glue, like I said, you could use Scotch tape or masking tape. You could make loops of that, or perhaps you have a double-sided tape that you use in the office that would work. But that's how the project originally is designed, so that it has beauty from both sides here. And it kind of gives a little surprise element to what you put inside your bag, because it's a little bit hidden. Now, in your kit, I just included one tea bag, so you'll have to hunt around and find things that you want to put inside here. If you're a baker, there's nothing like handmade cookies in a little bag. And I've learned over the years that you don't have to give a whole dozen or 2 dozen of something to people. Just 2 sweet cookies or 2 sweet candies that you make lets people know you're thinking of them and sharing spirit with them. And to be honest, it wouldn't be good for any of us to eat a whole dozen of the same kind of cookie. So don't worry if your gift has just sort of a sparse thing. It's the thought that counts, and the packaging that really makes it fun. This also is easy for them to reuse the packaging. Julia, did you have a question?
Not particularly a question, but I have a double-sided tape and it's a little bit wide. So I just cut a strip and then I cut it the long way. So I have 2 smaller strips that fit perfectly on this box.
Great strategy. That was a good strategy, because it will help to have a strong adhesive because it's a 3-dimensional object. So great. Oh, I'm glad that worked for you. So then when you have your goodies tucked inside, then you can add the tag that says to from. I'll show you here on my sample again. I just tied it and tied it tight for the first knot, and then I threaded on the tag, and then I tie a bow. So I don't like to tie knots on something that someone has to open, because then they'd have to cut it to open it. I would rather have it be a little loose, but they can easily pull it off. You might have a different opinion about that. That's totally fine. But I try not to have things that have to be cut in order to open, just because people might be eager to get into them, and also because then they could reuse it more easily. Okay. So once you have your gift tucked inside, and then the banner, both for the tree and for the gift pile, you would just tuck your banner, just slide the clip at the edge there, and that's going to add some texture, some color, a little bit of shine to your packaging. And then the to from tag, of course, is inside. For your snowman, you have the oh, what fun. And here, let me tie a little string. Again, I'm just putting my string on the part of the clip that has the one round end. See if I can see that easier here. The top. And I'm just going to tie a knot onto this and make it into a bow. Let me just show one other way. If you're not a big fan of making bows, you can fold up your baker's twine a few times. Yeah, I folded it so it's fourths right now. And I'm going to thread that through. It's going to be a little bit like a pom-pom. And I'll tie that in a knot. Okay. And then I can just cut the little pieces that were left, the little loops, I mean, kind of fluff them up. So you don't have to make a bow if you'd prefer to make a little pom-pom or some other kind of decoration there. So, oh, what fun. When you hear or when you read the lyrics to a song like this, does it automatically play in your head? Like, oh, what fun. Do you know what song that's referring to? It's also just a nice quote, right? A sentiment, but does it bring a song to mind for anyone? Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, very good. So that's a lot of fun. I hope you'll enjoy creating that and sharing it with someone you love. It would be great to share with your your mail person or a friend at the bank, or make one to put at your table. That looks beautiful, Julia. The tree is so pretty. Yeah, great. So if you have ideas about what you're going to put in your little treat pouch, you can put those in the chat. I would love to see if you have a favorite candy recipe that you make and share with friends, or cookies, or maybe you love to give a little ornament to people as a tradition, and that would be a fun way to package that. Next, let's go ahead and make our birthday card or our Happy New Year card. And this is the envelope that's the smallest in your kit there. It's a note card size envelope. And we'll pull out the envelope we can just set aside. This one I love. The note card size is great when you don't need to write a whole long big message, but you want to send a quick thank you note or thinking of you note to someone. It's a great size, and it's regular postage stamp. It goes through the mail. So it's been scored for you. You're going to fold on that score line. Sue suggests a gift card or scratch off lottery tickets. That's a great idea. People love to receive gift cards, but sometimes as the giver, we feel like we're robbed a little bit of the joy of packaging. So it's fun to be creative with gift cards and how we package them for friends. That's a great idea. Now, this designer series paper has two sides. So you might decide you want to favor different pieces of your card than I did. I love the sides that have the foil on them. Okay. And, but I'm also a fan of these colors, the lime green and the pink. So if you already have someone in mind for this card, that's helpful because you want to put the year that they're turning. Okay. You can make a Happy New Year card like me, or maybe you know someone who's turning 23 in 2023. But you'll see you have lots of numbers, but there aren't a lot of duplicates. Like this person, I could do an 88 because I do have 2 8s and 2 9s, but most of the pieces are going to just be single numbers. So you can do like 26, but you can't do 22. So that'll maybe influence who you make your card for. So it can be someone that can match the age of their years around the sun. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use my green glue. And the first step is just to apply some glue to the layer that's going to be at the bottom of my card. And just take a sip of my tea. My favorite tea year round is orange tea. It's called wild orange, and I love it, but I also love it at Christmas because Orange you glad it's Christmas.
Ah,
And I'll show you a funny card while I'm thinking of the oranges. This is a kit that I also still have a couple of these left. Mary's made these. A bunch of you have already made these with me. I think Sue may have made these too, but the kit makes 12 and you can almost smell the orange and the cinnamon coming off the page. It's really lovely. And so I love the verse, orange you glad it's Christmas. That makes me happy. I think we did this one as a library class a couple months ago too. So orange is I think a scent that's Christmassy as well as summery. Now that's the base here. And you're going to use some scissors to do some fussy cutting. Now you might decide tonight that you don't know who you want to give this card to, and you can just carefully tuck these numbers aside, you know, put them in the envelope so that when the need arises, you've got them in the right place for you to cut. But I'm going to go ahead. Let's see, I have to think. My husband will actually be 64 next year. His birthday is not until October though, so that's kind of a long way to wait. I'm trying to think of someone who has a January birthday that I could share it with. A couple of my friends, I actually don't know their ages, just they're young at heart for sure. I think I'll go ahead and make a 70, and then I'll find somebody who's celebrating 70s, a kind of a special year, isn't it? So I'm going to fussy cut the numbers 7 and 0 to make the number 70. I love to send cards to people, and I especially try to remember those special milestone birthdays. My mom will be 80 next year, but not till December. So again, that would be a long time for me to keep track of this card. Stampin' Up! Has a special kit now called the Birthday Organizer. And that kit has pockets for each month. So you can plan. This is how it would help me for my husband's birthday and for my mother's birthday. It has a pocket. So each month you can put the cards on the page. It has the dates, and you write down who has the birthday on the 4th, who has the birthday on the 12th. And then you can place the card for them in the pocket. That would be a way to help me stay on track. So I'm going to do a milestone birthday 70. So I'm going to glue those onto the black circle. And again, if you don't want to do your numbers now, just do the other steps and you can save the numbers for when you have a special birthday to celebrate. I think this paper is kind of festive Hollywoodish paper, like a festive celebratory paper. A lot of times people use black as a color for birthdays as we get older. But I think as long as you pair it with a positive, bright gold and bright, shiny colors, then that's okay. I don't know that I'd like to receive a card that's all black, but black can be very sophisticated though, right? So here's 70. And then I'll put it onto the gold foil medallion. Isn't that pretty? There we are.
oh.
Okay, I'm going to put my numbers in here just so I have them. I encourage you to set them somewhere so you can use your numbers for a different project. Now you'll notice before I go further, I want to point out, I wanted to use the foil for the medallion. And I also wanted the foil as a layer to the paper card layer. So since I knew I would be covering this up with the paper, I went ahead and punched out an element first. And this is a great strategy for conserving paper. No one will ever know that you got bonus duty from this piece of foil, because first I punched out that medallion piece. And that's I like to do that, especially with papers that are specialty papers, foils, or with glitter, or if I only have a tiny bit left of that paper and I really want to stretch it, that's a good habit. We're going to go ahead and, because I'm going to put this piece on top of this circle, I only want adhesive to go around the edge because I don't want adhesive to fill up in that center there. So I'm just putting glue around the outside. If you went ahead and did that, or if you forget and put glue in the middle, it won't be a problem. You just have to make sure that you're not adhering it to your work surface. That would be frustrating. Okay. Now, I love dimensionals, the foam stickers, because they give height to things and added interest. So I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on this gold layered piece. Peel off the wax paper layer, or liner, I should say. That's just keeping the adhesive protected till we're ready for it. They tend to be pretty staticky. So we find these all over our house. They stick to my clothing and then they end up in all the rooms of the house. There. This is a proportions that I like. It's not quite 2/3 and 1/3, but it's more than a half. I like that proportion when I'm crafting for one element to be a little longer than another element. Just because we love dimension and we want this to really pop out on the page, we're going to put dimensionals on the back of the medallion layer as well. For a shape like this, I would generally use 3. The adhesive itself is strong enough just to use 1. But what I find is when it gets smushed into an envelope, I want it to kind of hold that depth to it. And if I have just 1, then the other parts kind of sink down a little bit. So by positioning 3 like this, that will help cushion. Now this is elegant and fine, just like this, isn't it? But I chose to add a little bit of whimsy and color to this other one by cutting out hats from this piece of paper. So everybody has at least a few hats. Some of them are going to be cut off, but I made sure everybody had some hats they could use. And I'm just going to fussy cut so that I can add a little bit more design element to the card and make it a little more whimsical too. So it depends on your recipient. Without the hats, it's a little more of an elegant card perhaps, but I enjoy the whimsy. Again, you can consider who you're going to be giving it to and what they might enjoy most. So these are these fun sort of, it's almost a neon green. It's like a lime green. I know you've heard me say that I favor all the greens. Green is my favorite color, and also yellow and purple, but I really like green best. So you'll notice as I fussy cut, I'm not turning my scissors. I'm turning my paper. So let's put this in, see if that makes it a little easier to see my hands. But I'm turning the paper. My scissors are going to stay pretty much straight. And that allows me to kind of get in those grooves with a little more control. I typically leave a little bit of a white border around anything I'm cutting. That's just my habit. You can go much closer if you like, and then you wouldn't have that. But I think it's kind of a white, a little bit of a shadow. And if you're consistent with it, I don't think it looks awkward.
It gives you some
Yeah.
leeway.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're working with those teeny tiny bits. All right. So I chose to put the black one further away from this other black pattern, but you can do it how you like. These have more polka dots, don't they? My pink one has stripes. So I don't need to, I'm going to choose not to pop these up, but just to add a little dot of glue. Dot, dot, not a lot. So that they're going to kind of overlap a little bit. And again, if you're waiting on the number, then just go ahead and tuck these pieces into your envelope. So when you're ready to give this all-star card to someone special, you'll have the pieces you want handy. And it definitely makes me think of the new year too. So if you're stumped and you're not sure who to give it to for a birthday, go ahead and make a 2023. I hope you like this. I love the foil. I love the shine.
They look great.
Yeah. So again, I didn't plan stamping for the envelope tonight, but if you have a festive stamp in your collection that you want to add to your envelope, I like to put an image in the corner where on the side that I address. And then often I like to be what my friend Linda Talbot used to say, be a flapper. Make sure your flap has some decoration on it. Okay. And I'll demonstrate just one quick way to do that using the stamp from the kit that had those holders tonight. This could be all kinds of things, but I'm going to use it tonight to add pattern to the envelope. Just thinking this would be a fun way to show you a little more about what's included in that stamp set. So I'm going to go ahead and use pink. It's not quite the same shade of pink as I have on here, but I'm going to go ahead and use the pink anyway. And I'm only going to decorate the flap. So what I want to do is isolate the flap from the rest of the card. And to do that, I'll take some scrap paper.
I love this trick. I love it, the way that the flaps come out.
Isn't it fun? Yeah. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of my this paper here that I'll have as my scrap thread paper. It's always good to have paper to protect your work surface, whether it's a table or a tablecloth or a desk at your friends or in your own home. It's a good idea to add that. So I didn't make this quite big enough. There we go. So what I'm going to do is stamp, but I've protected the rest of this envelope and I've got my scrap paper here. So I can ink up this large stamp. Now this stamp is a new one tonight. I opened this box up to share with you today. So because the photopolymer stamp hasn't been used yet, I'm going to do what we call priming the stamp by just stamping off on my scrap paper a few times, inking it up, stamping it, inking it up, stamping it, because in the process of the photopolymer stamp being made in Utah, they're made in Kanab, Utah, southern Utah. Sometimes there's a little bit of film that stays on the special photopolymer acrylic stamp. And so it helps us to get a good, best ink impression if we first ink it up a few times and kind of wiggle it off. All right, so now I'm going to take my stamp and I'm going to stamp it. And this will be a little tricky because I'm not going to try to line up the lines here. I'm just going to have lines side by side. Could do it with different colors too. That'd be kind of cool to pull in the green and the black. I didn't think I had enough about that. Okay, because it's photopolymer, I can see through, but I'm doing it on camera, so no promises that I'll get it lined up, but you'll see how I'm making the diagonal pattern. And you can use this technique if you have any kind of stamp where you want to create an all-over pattern. So you might have flowers or balloons, and you just stamp so that some of the ink goes off of the page and some on the flap.
I think some of ours have either star patterns or what was the other one? Snowflakes.
Oh, very good. That would be a perfect thing to include here, especially on the flap of the Christmas card. Because if you're choosing to have this be all the stars would work really well. If you had snowflakes though, and you're celebrating a birthday in May, it might not be quite as good a match. Although a lot of snowflakes just kind of look like dazzling stars. A lot of them don't have the specific pattern of snow, and every snowflake is unique, right? There.
Right.
So that now I take my scrap paper away, I just have the decoration on the flap, and it's a cool wow. All right, so that's that one. Happy New Year or happy birthday to someone special who would enjoy a festive foil card. Now we'll finish tonight with our card that uses the large envelope from your kit. I love that it's 5 by 7. It's actually, the envelope's even bigger than 5 by 7. It's designed so that you can incorporate a 4 by 6 photo if you wish to have a photo card. And I looked ahead for my samples before the class, but I unfortunately had them in a different place. So I couldn't show you the ones with my family pictures in them, but this is some examples of how you can use these supplies as a photo card. So it can be vertical or horizontal, and we call that portrait or landscape. And the photo at size 4x6 will fit perfectly without having to trim it in there. So if you have a photo in mind, or you want to share a photo for this card, then you can watch along as I make the card, but you won't want to glue things down until you have your photo. If you, however, want to make the card either in the portrait or the landscape with the supplies from your kit, we'll do that together tonight. So this one, there's a little bonus in here for you. And that is this extra foil, because it's been die cut for you. You have to just carefully, it's a little bit fragile, just carefully pull that out from the die cut image with the pine cones. And now you have this beautiful piece of foil to do something magical with. It's like a mirror. You can see me in the mirror reflected in there. You can punch this or cut it. You can, cut little strips, but that's just a little bonus to add to your craft stash, so that I think it's fun each month when you have some little bits and pieces left over. You can let me know in the chat how you store them. You might have a shoebox or a coffee can or a big envelope where, when you have bits and bobs left over from projects, you can store them, because you never know when that green button or that yellow ribbon is going to be just the thing you need for your card. Excuse me just a minute. Now, you'll see that you have some extra pieces here, and you're welcome to use all of them on your card. There's no rules about that. And although we say less is more, it's often fun to have a more is more project, right? And just really embellish. There are two different sentiment size labels for you. So depending on how you want to create your card, you can use it as a centerpiece here, or you can use the smaller piece either with the photo card, okay, or just based on what kind of greeting you want here. Tonight, we're going to go ahead and make the one that I have as my design. And so there's a red banner, and that banner would go inside. Before I do any adhering, I'm going to play around a little bit, and I encourage you to do that too, because this card has this special laser foil, and you may or may not want to cover it up with the elements. So before you glue anything, kind of think about it like a puzzle, and you're just going to lay things out. So we have two pieces that are pine cone related. One is a trio of pine cones and one is a solo one. So you can position them in opposite corners from where the gold foil is, or you can layer them, and that way just the gold foil kind of peeks out from underneath. There are also poinsettia options. So you can mix it, you can combine them. I have a wreath, the wreath on my door and on our garage, the garage lights have a wreath. They have both the poinsettia and the pine cone in them. There's no rules, you can mix and match. But if you want, you can save those for something else and just use your poinsettias here. Again, so you've got quite a few options. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the image, and I'll share it with you. This comes in the kit. If you do the supply fee tomorrow for $20, it will include the whole kit to make 15 cards. Plus, you'll get a lot of extra pine cones and poinsettia pieces. And then you'll also have the stamp set and ink to take home. So this kit includes an ink called Mossy Meadow. It's a really lovely green. And the word says, wishing you a season filled with the special warmth of friendship, the precious joy of sharing, and the wonderful blessings of happiness. And I like that very much, because it's not specifically Christian or Christmas wish. It's a season's greeting wish. The stamp set does also have Merry Christmas, season's greetings and to you and yours. So you can personalize it, but I love that it has a greeting that's really perfect for all people. And go ahead and stamp that down. But again, this could be used with any greeting or image that you love. Write the words, a special scripture or a verse of a carol that you love would make a nice centerpiece for this card too. So now I have my pieces laid out pretty much the way I want to have them. This one I'm going to do the poinsettia just so you can compare one way to layer. And so I'll remove these things. If you're going to add a photo, you would want to wait and not glue anything tonight because you want to have the photo. It's going to be glued to this frame and then positioned on top. Okay. Now, this is a good example of dot, dot, not a lot. We want to just have a little bit of glue around the frame. And I will caution you that if you use a liquid glue like this, it can get onto the foil and not wipe off very easily. So you may choose to use a tear and tape or a double-sided tape instead of the liquid glue to try to avoid that. It's really hard to avoid some of the glue transferring to the foil. If you have an adhesive remover, which is like a little gum eraser, that helps, but I found this foil, it just for some reason, it's really hard to get the glue off of it. There, so that's positioned.
Yeah,
And
you
now
almost
I'll
want
add-
to put a book on it to flatten it down while it dries.
That's a great idea too, where instead of touching it so much, because the glue, the oil from our skin and the glue that's on our skin wants to grab onto that foil. So a book would be a great example, a great time. This would be the time to do it. Put it down and let it really dry and set. I'm going to adhere the red banner to the center here. And you'll see there isn't really an up and down. My one sample has the double pine cones in the bottom corner, and my sample for tonight has them up in the top. So again, you get to decide. It will all, if you're using a photo, that will be influenced as well. You wouldn't want to cover up a face, and so you may position it differently around the photo. I'm going to add some dimensionals for the greeting. And in this case, I'm going to put 4, kind of positioned again for that same reason that I talked about before. 1 is strong enough to hold it in place, but then it will kind of deflate around it. It wouldn't, when it's in the envelope, it wouldn't hold it up. Okay, wishing you a season filled with the special warmth of friendship, the precious joy of sharing, and the wonderful blessings of happiness. So now I can position some poinsettias around here. Don't want to cover up my words, so I just want to be mindful where I'm positioning them. One here. And I think what I'll do is actually this smaller one, I'm going to put without a dimensional, I'm going to position it so it's under the label just to kind of change it up a little bit. And I like that it's intentionally hanging over the gold a little bit here and here, kind of spreading out the pattern. So at a class a couple weeks ago, I had a team member create these cards as photo cards. Her daughter graduated from Syracuse University, and she had a photo of her daughter with Otto at graduation. And so that was the one she chose to print and have ready for her cards. And it's such a great joy. Cards at Christmas are a delight to receive. And photo cards are great too, or cards that you write a letter for, but any card that's you've write a little message inside. I think people are starting to do fewer cards these years. It is an expense with the postage and with the cost of the cards, but they are a lovely gift that someone can receive. That it's a surprise in your mailbox, and then they can display it throughout the holidays or even throughout the year. People will keep cards they receive. So I do encourage you to send cards If not at Christmas, send New Year cards or Valentine's, or I love each week, each month we gather, we get to talk about who we might want to give these cards to. So if you have an idea already of who will receive this one, you can add it in the chat or tell us, come off mute, and you can tell us who will enjoy these. And thank you for being with us again for the year 2022. We'll look forward to continuing this, Julia, right throughout 2023.
Yes, I have a
It's
question.
fun to gather, and I so appreciate the support of the library. And
Yep.
oh, you know what? One more thing I almost forgot about the poinsettia or the pine cone card. It includes a little square of glitter paper, but it isn't just a square. It actually has 4 circles that are stickers, and so you pop them out, and then you can peel them off of that glitter sheet, and then put them onto your card. So they're not fat. They won't add more. This can still go through the mail. It's not like a puffy button or a hard dimensional or a hard embellishment, but it does add that extra little bit of sparkle. There we are. If anybody has any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them. And again, I look forward. Oh, beautiful, Mary. That looks lovely.
Do you mind if I pin you so people can see?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
I like that you combine the pine cones with the poinsettias. They're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Yes. Nice.
You're muted right now, friend, so we couldn't hear you. Thanks everybody for being a part of it. So nice to see you, Christina, meet your friend tonight. We're glad you're with us. And Sue, I know, has been here. I think Nancy is on with us as well, or was on earlier. It's great to have you be a part of things. And those of you watching on Facebook and catching us on the replay, I wish you a very, very happy holiday season and healthy times. Enjoy time with family and friends, and I look forward to our playtimes together in the new year. And I'll be at the library tomorrow morning, if you can join me for our in-person Let's Kit together. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Julia.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas. Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of our fun.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, our pleasure. Thanks for bringing a friend. That was really nice.
Nice to meet you, Mary Grace.
Thank you, you guys too as well.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night, everyone.